Sahanavatu Sahano Bhunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. We'll chant the invocation verses here. Bhaktun Subodha Vedantam Pravritto Hyabudhopyaham Kripaya Yasya Tam Bhande Shri Ganesham Punah Punaha Bhande Saraswatim Devim Sadgurum Me Mahamatim Sita Sameta Shri Ramam Yachantu Shubhadham Matim. Last week, we completed seeing all the qualities of the student. And now we must see what are the qualities of a teacher. So even teacher must also have to pass certain credentials. Now this, if you have the book, it's on page 18. We'll chant this number 6. Shrotriyo Brahmanishtascha Naiva Kamahatascha Saha Dayalu Deshiko Dakshaha Shishya Prashna Nivarakaha. Okay. The Guru is one who is well versed in the scriptures, established in the highest reality, Brahman, and is never afflicted by desires. He is compassionate and skilled in removing all doubts of his disciple. Okay, so now qualifications of the Guru begins. Yeah. So as we gain more, fitness, adhikari, as we become more eligible as a student, we develop our own qualities as a student. Then all of a sudden a teacher will start coming into our life. And what are some of the things that we are looking for in a teacher? So here a list is given. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 qualities are given of a teacher. First one, Shrotriya. Shrotriya means one who is well versed in the scriptures. Brahmanishta, one who is established in Brahman. That means realized. Kamahataha, one who is Naiva Kamataha, one who is not afflicted by desire. Number 4, Dayaluhu, compassionate. Number 5, Deshika, a teacher, one who can show the path. Number 6, Dakshaha, skilled. And number 7, Shishya Prashna Nivarakaha, one who can, Nivarakaha, remove, Prashna he means doubt, the doubt of the student. Okay, so these are the 7 qualities given for the Guru. Now, if we see, let's work through each one of them. Shrotriyam, Shrotriyaha means one who has heard the Shastra. Adhyayana Shrutartha Sampannaha. That means one who understands the import of the Vedanta Shastra. Okay. Now, why is it important that he has studied the Shastras? Because some people say, why does he need to study scriptures? Why can't he just be a person who just out of his own wisdom teaches? Yeah. It's important that he follows what's called a sampradaya. Sampradaya means tradition. This is something that we should be aware of, even when we, are looking for a teacher. Is there a tradition behind them? Is there a sampradaya behind them? Because nowadays with the internet, anyone can become an instant guru. You can also be instantly realized, self-appointed, realized. All these things are possible. There's no problems with that. So we have to find out, do they have a parampa they belong to? Because tradition, although many of us sometimes are scared of tradition, nervous about tradition, but actually tradition ensures a well-tested path. It shows a path which many people have walked. As compared to the new path, some new path that is created, we don't know if anyone has walked that path, and we don't know whether or not that path is going to lead us to our destination. So sometimes we have people that are creating new spiritual methods in order to reach enlightenment. And, such methods of teaching which can deviate from the tradition, we don't know whether or not they are time tested. We don't even know if they're effective, and we don't know if they actually deliver what they say. So the teacher may say this works, but we only have the teacher as the backing. When we follow a tradition, then what happens is there are many people that have walked this path. That guru has walked it, that guru's guru has walked it, that guru's guru has walked it. So it is time tested. And it is something that also does not become obsolete. Because if lineage of masters have walked that path, then that path does not become obsolete with time. Because people in the past have done it, people in the present are doing it. That means it has immediate relevance and validity. So to our context, it is relevant. Otherwise, some people, they like saying everything is outdated and everything is obsolete, therefore choose the new path. And this becomes problematic. Because I said, we don't have anyone who has necessarily walked that path. Here, if you think about it, what is our topic? Our topic is knowledge of the self. Brahma Vidya, Atma Vidya. Atma, Brahma doesn't change. Because Atma and Brahma doesn't change, the goal that seekers, masters have been talking about thousands of years ago is the same goal that is being discussed today. That goal has not changed. And who is the one trying to get there? The jiva. The jiva means the ego. And if you look over time, ego also hasn't changed. The ego is afflicted with the same thing. Avidya, kama, karma. Ignorance, desire, selfish action. This is what everyone is operating on. So from jiva to Brahman, the subject itself, the very topic of what we are discussing, the jiva and Brahman, they are changeless. And because the very subject matter is changeless, therefore the tradition of teaching also is timeless. We are not discussing a different topic that has evolved over the last 20 years. We are discussing the mind, and we are discussing how to go beyond to the Atma. And both of these things are perpetual. The jiva is perpetual and Brahman is eternal. So because the topic matter does not become redundant or obsolete, therefore the tradition of teaching also doesn't become obsolete. If the topic was to be latest methods of communication, then yeah, that topic will keep evolving. And as the topic evolves, teachers and methods of teaching can become redundant because the very topic you're researching keeps changing. Even in the field of medical discoveries, we keep on making more and more discoveries. So newer things come to light. So as newer things come to light, the old things do become redundant. The old ways of looking at the body become redundant. And when now the topic you're looking at is changing, then the methods of teaching will also change. But here, topic remains the same, and the method of teaching can remain the same. So this is called tradition. This tradition is called sampradaya. And that's why it's important that the teacher who is teaching is connected to a sampradaya, has a lineage. And that lineage is connected to a valid means of knowledge. That's what a shastra is. Valid means of knowledge, valid source of knowledge, rather than just creating new things. And if you see, even in our Chinmaya mission, our Puja Gurudev has not created his own books. He has only written commentaries on Shankaracharya's texts, the Gita, and the Upanishads. The Upanishads are the highest praman or valid means of knowledge in Hinduism. They are from Vedas, and that has been encapsulated by God himself in the form of Gita. So Gita is also taken as praman. And then it is Shankaracharya who has expounded the Advaita philosophy from there. Yeah. And even Shankaracharya, he only keeps on quoting Upanishads. So he himself doesn't deviate from that. So in this way, the tradition is maintained. Tradition is maintained. Yeah. So teacher should be well versed in those scriptures. Teacher should be belonging to a lineage. The other aspect of him being well versed in the scriptures, he should inspire the students to also come to study those original scriptures. When he's got a level of mastery of that language and that shastra, he can inspire the students to go back to the original rather than live of his interpretations, which may be in another language. Yeah. So the advantage is that bring the students back to the original source. Yeah. It's funny, even in the Vedas, when you read the mantras, they will say, Iti Shushrumadhiranam. We have heard this from previous masters. So even the Vedic mantras keep on saying, we have heard this from earlier masters. Iti Shushrumadhiranam. Yenastad Vyachachakshire. Everyone keeps going back to the original source. That's the point. Yeah, the original source finally is God only. Asya mahato bhutasya nishvasitavyam. It's the very breath of God only has become all the Shastras. So bring it back to that. Sadashiva Samarambham. The Adi Guru, Lord Shiva, Lord Narayana. That is it. So inspire the students to go back to the original. Then the student can contemplate for themselves. They are not bound by the words and interpretations of that teacher alone. They can explore other in suggestiveness, depth of meaning. That's very liberating. Okay, Shotriya, Brahmanishta. Brahmanishta, Nishta means to abide, to adhere, to be established in. Brahmani Nishta, in Brahman, here, supreme truth. So that teacher should be well established in the truth. I mean, they should be beyond their ego. Now, Brahmanishta, also another meaning is given where that teacher is exclusively committed to that pursuit. That means they are not having any other pursuits that they are seeking. Other pursuits, dharma, artha, kama. They are other pursuits. And here, teacher is only in pursuit of moksha or Brahman. That's also called Brahmanishta. So, Brahmanishta can refer to one who is exclusively devoted to the pursuit of Brahman, or one who is established in that Brahman. Okay. Now, next one. Kamahataha. Hataha means killed. Kama, desire. Killed by desire. He should be akamahataha, not killed by desire. What does it mean, killed by desire? That means having some sort of addiction or weakness, yeah, which is problematic on the path to realization. Now, sometimes, this quality is a very interesting one, because when we read this, akamahata is a good way of putting it. In Bhagavad Gita, they give the lakshana of a person who is established in the truth as prajahati adakaman sarvam partha manogadan, one who has given up all desires. And all of a sudden we feel, oh, realize Master has given up all desires. Huh? But then what happened? We asked our Guru, do you want water? He said yes. Oh, he said he wanted water. Now he has desire for water. Then he had desire for water. How can he be realized Master only? So you must understand, there's a difference between desire for function. Functionality needs to go on. He asked for clothes. He has got desire. He asked for food. He has got desire. Sannyasis are bhikshus, Bhikshu means one who asks beg for their food. But I mean, if he's a bhikshu, then he cannot be free of desire. So one level of desire is just desire for sustaining the body. Yeah, jivana dharanam. This is not what is discussed here. Yeah, that desire is normal. Then the other desire, some masters will take up work for the welfare of society. They will do missionary work. Like our Chinmaya mission is involved in missionary work. So when they do missionary work, then they will have desire for the well-being of the people. Loka sangraha, it is called. So sometimes the teacher will express a desire for loka sangraha. Do something. I want something. Sometimes they'll ask for money. We need money to run this project. Yeah. Then it will appear like, oh, he wants money the whole time. That money is for loka sangraha. So between jivana dharanam, desire to sustain the body, and loka sangraha, desire to serve the world, these two do not come under what is discussed here. Here, the karma that is discussed is a personal desire that doesn't serve either one of these and is becoming like an addiction. So it must be free of addiction. That means should be able to leave anything at any time. That's the main thing. The teacher should be able to leave anything at any time. If he's asked to move. If he's asked to go there. If he's asked to live a different life, live a different life. He should be able to do that. He should not be bound by some sort of, he should not be bound by a place, people, circumstance. He should not be bound by any of it. He should be able to leave anything. Okay? So that is called kamahataha. Dayalu. Dayalu means compassionate. Yeah, compassionate. So compassion means giving without cause, giving without reason. So when this person gives, there is no reason or return. He's not seeking anything in return. The teacher is not seeking any return when they give affection, when they give love, when they give knowledge to the student. There's nothing they can gain actually. There's nothing the student really can do to help that teacher. When the teacher is establishing the truth, nothing much the student can give to help that teacher. So here it is giving without reason. Many times when we give, there's always some reason in the back of our giving. Our giving has always got some purpose that I've done someone a favor, they should return that favor back. An expectation is created when we give. an expectation of reciprocation, that they should give back. Sometimes not even reciprocation, but I should be known as the one who gave. So credit should be given. I should be acknowledged. I am not appreciated. I am not acknowledged. And this is what tends to corrupt our form of giving. And when we are giving with these elements, that there are elements of recognition, that there are elements of reciprocation, then these two elements corrupt our giving. Then we cannot say our giving is done out of compassion. Our giving is done because there is either reciprocation or there is recognition, and these are personal gains. These are personal gains. Yeah. Compassion is when there is no personal gain to be made out of this transaction. So from this transaction, there's no gain whatsoever for the giver. So even if there's no acknowledgement whatsoever, fine. There's no credit given, fine. No, nothing given, fine. Doesn't matter. And then how that compassion comes, you see, many times, all these qualities, and I'll look at this at the end, but all these qualities, one thing is we create this imagination in our mind of what this looks like. Yeah. And many times we talk about a compassionate person. We think someone who's soft and cuddly little teddy bear and just smiling the whole time, and it doesn't matter what you do, they just smile at you and say it's okay, it's okay. So people think this is compassion. Yeah. But compassionate means one who is willing to guide you beyond your ego and in spite of your ego. In spite of your ego, willing to guide you. And sometimes our ego does many stupid things. That it becomes stubborn, it becomes disobedient, it becomes reluctant, uncooperative. It behaves badly, actually. And when we have an ego in that mindset that it is behaving badly, it has got some mental block or inhibition, then sometimes a teacher uses a different approach. And the approach is not so soft. It can be a tough approach, a direct approach. Yeah, an approach which involves stronger discipline. It all depends on what the mental block is in the mind of the student. Yeah. So the student is, say, somewhat lazy, yeah, a bit too casual about things. The teacher will come across as very strict. And it's how the student will see the teacher. The student will see that teacher as being very strict. That discipline is compassion. Because without that discipline, that student will not grow. That student will not grow. And therefore, the teacher takes up the role of being disciplinarian for that student. We know one of the names of our Gurudev was Anushasana Priyaya Namaha, one who was very fond of discipline. And Gurudev at times, he would tell people off. Recently, I watched an interview of a Swami, and he was talking about his incident with Gurudev. Very cute, where he had come, I think he was a brahmachari. He was studying in the course, brahmachari. And he went to Gurudev on what was Guru Purnima, but actually it was his birthday. And he went to Gurudev and he goes, Gurudev, today is my birthday, please bless me. He didn't even say bless me, actually. He just said, today is my birthday, that's it. And Gurudev blasted him. He said, birthday, what birthday? He sent him away. And then later he said, this one, coming on Guru Purnima to celebrate his birthday. Actually, he should have been asking blessings from the teacher because it's Guru Purnima. Why has he come now? celebrate my birthday with me. Yeah. He later became a Swami, that man. He became a Swami. But that lesson is that actually you have come here to realize you are not the body and you are celebrating the birth of this body. You missed the whole point. So lessons can come in all different ways. Someone who helps us to overcome our ego in spite of our ego, that's extreme compassion. But compassion is not always in the form of softness, gentleness, permissiveness. Because that can be just permissive, that we are allowing you to continue on with your same type of behavior, thinking that has caused you the problem in the first place. And now we are allowing that just to continue on. No, a caring teacher is one who will take time to stop that. And they know at the same time, when they take that stance, they will be disliked by the student at that time. Only highly evolved student will be able to see that as compassion. Otherwise, most will just see that as, why is he yelling at me so much? So they know it'll hurt the student. They know to give them a bad name, but they will still do it because it is in the best interest of the student. So dayalu, compassionate, that compassion comes in different forms. Sometimes inspiration, sometimes encouragement, sometimes love, sometimes consolation, and sometimes discipline. Yeah, but compassion comes in all different forms. We all know that our parents put various disciplines upon us when we were children, and at that time we disliked them thoroughly, and even we waved our fists in anger, not in front of them, in the bedroom, against our parents, thinking, oh, and then all had these little dreams that I will pack up and I will walk outside the house today. And if I leave the house, let's see, my parents will cry and come running after me. We've all had those thoughts of walking away from our parents, and neither our parents flinched, no one flinched. Some people even helped their children pack and said, please take this suitcase and you can go for a walk. Yeah. But we know that we've all had these tantrums where we felt life was so unjust. And then 20 years later, 30 years later, we realize, actually, I'm very grateful that my parents put such disciplines on me. It has helped shape who I am. I heard a lady once, and she said a very nice thing. She said that when she got married, when she initially moved into the home, she was living with the in-laws. And she said she was not allowed to rest for a moment, because anytime she was lying down, the in-laws would just, the mother-in-law would just one look at the kitchen sink, and if one article was in the kitchen sink, just raise the eyebrow. How come this is sitting in the kitchen sink, you know? And so she would immediately get up and then what, and she said, you know, because of this, she was always alert. And she just never spent her afternoon having this afternoon rest and nap. And she said she did this for like 20 years. And I had met her when she was much older, late 50s, 60s, you know, and the mother-in-law had already passed away. And she said she was so grateful for that training. She said, because of that training that I had under my mother-in-law, I just gave up sleep. I didn't need to do sleep. I could keep a very well-disciplined house. I could keep everything in order. And she said, when I first got married, I was just a young, playful girl. I didn't know what I was doing. But this discipline really helped me. So in that way, discipline can become a great, it serves our purpose to a great extent. It's a great blessing in many times. So compassion comes in all different forms. We have preconceived notions of what compassion should look like. Sometimes you have to go beyond that. Yeah, there's a very good book called Every Breath a Teaching. And it's all different stories of different devotees and disciples and their incidents with Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda. And in that, you will find so many ways that he engaged people in a variety of methods. And he dealt with people in such a variety of methods, and everyone felt blessed at the end of it. Some was tough, some was soft, some was inspiring, some was encouraging, but everyone felt blessed at the end of it. This is a very interesting book, nice book to read. Every Breath a Teaching. Okay, Dayaluhu. Next one, Deshika. Deshika is a Sanskrit definition. Shishebhyaha jnanam dishati. One who can impart knowledge to the student. Yeah. Teacher must be one who can impart. Look, some teachers are well learned, well studied, but they can't teach. They themselves don't know how to teach. Some teachers are nice to be around. They're very kind. They sit there, smile at you, but there's no message, no satsang goes on. Yeah. So Deshika means one who knows how to teach. Teaching itself is a skill, actually. There's a skill involved in teaching. Yeah. So one who can give knowledge, and which knowledge? Brahma Vidya should be taught. It says that when a sincere student comes to the teacher, he should not teach him other things. He should teach him only the Brahma Vidya. Knowledge of the self, nothing else. Yeah. When such a fit student comes, that alone should be taught. Deshika, one who can give the knowledge. Yeah. He has studied, he has learned from a teacher. Now he should know the art of that. And that comes to the next quality, Dakshaha. Dakshaha means skilled. Daksha means efficient, dexterous. So skilled in imparting the knowledge. Deshika means one who can impart the knowledge. Daksha, one who's skilled in doing that. Yeah. And that's why even in the art, like teaching is an art. Yeah. There's an art form to teaching. And even our great acharyas, they have given various tips and structures to how teaching must be done. That whenever someone is taught a principle, yeah, that with any principle is called siddhant. That with any siddhant, there should be drishtanta, illustration. The illustration makes the principle clear. So siddhant should have drishtanta. Yeah, sometimes we call example, but example is not the right word. Drishtanta means illustration. Yeah. So we know our Shastra is filled with these things because we know when we talk about how something is projected, substratum superimposition. You know, I'm just giving an example now of, in Vedanta, we talk about a substratum and a superimposition. And when somebody understands or sees the substratum, the superimposition goes. And then you're like, what? Rajju sarpa. Huh? Just like the snake on the rope. Snake which is imagined on the rope. When one comes to clearly see the rope, snake is gone. Yeah? That's called a drishtanta. Rajju sarpavat is the drishtanta. The siddhanta is adhyasa adhisthana. Yeah, superimposition and substratum. That's the siddhanta. Rajju sarpa is the drishtanta. The point is not to go look for snakes. That's not the point. Don't go mistake it. Some people mistake it and they get caught up in the illustration and they get lost in that. Yeah, that's not the point. If you read a book called Atmavod, in Atmavod, every verse there is Siddhanta, Drishtanta, Siddhanta, Drishtanta. This is the skill of Shankaracharya. Okay. The other aspect which is also given in order to communicate a point, one is your principle, Siddhanta, two, illustration, Drishtanta, and last one, you bring in a story or example of a person who has actually done this. Yeah. So they relate it to a personality, someone who has walked this path, someone who has done this before. And that's what you find in the Puranas. When we read the Puranas, we find various personalities that have done these things. And so therefore, in the Shastras, they also quote certain personalities, certain people. In Gita, they quote Janak Maharaj as a great karma yogi. He is quoted there in the 3rd chapter. So, by quoting, if you look at this is a skill actually, because our human psyche, students that are very sharp, they will understand Siddhanta. Then if we don't quite understand Siddhanta, we can understand the point through Drishtanta. And then when a personality is quoted, then we can get inspiration. Because we realize, oh, these people have done it, then I can also do it. It is possible to do. It is not pure theory. So through Siddhanta, Drishtanta, Purana, or Akyayika story, then we get inspired that their people have done this, I should also do this. Now, Guruji is taking Kathopanishad in the morning, and in the Kathopanishad, the student there, 9-year-old Nachiketas. 9-year-old Nachiketas, his Uttama Shishya, best Shishya for this Brahma Vidya. Now, if a 9-year-old can do that, you feel like you can do as well. You're older than 9. Huh? I think some of you are older than, I think most of us are older than 9. Yeah? No Bhavika children here. So then, if 9-year-olds can do it, we can do it. That should be the inspiration. Don't take it the other way and say, oh, he must have been born to wonderful parents. If I had such parents, I also would have been that brilliant. Problem is, I never had such a wonderful upbringing. Therefore, even at 49, I can't achieve this. That's the wrong thing to take away from that. Yeah? When they quote heroic personalities to show that people have done it, so can you. That's what we were calling this Gurudev Jayanti camp. He did it, so can you. That was the point. Yeah. So there's a skill in teaching and imparting knowledge. This skill, anyone who teaches anything, you should also be able to, if you have to impart anything, you should know how to do this. Principle, illustration, and then example, a person who has done it. Any idea you need to communicate, you follow this, the idea becomes very clear. Okay. Another aspect of teaching, anyone to teach any topic, even in conversation, when you have a conversation, you should always address 3 factors. What, why, how. These 3 things should always be addressed. What should mean, what are you actually talking about? Identify your topic matter. Why means, why do I need to know it? What is the relevance? What is the result from knowing this? And then how do I practice this? What, why, how? I tell our teachers when they have to teach, I say, always know these 3 things. What, why, how? Any chapter you teach of a text, you should know the main theme. That's called the what. Then you should always be able to tell the student, why should the student know this? How is it going to help them? What is the result? That's called the why. And then you must give them practical means that they can implement it. That is called the how. What, why, how. Okay, this is how you become daksha, skilled in that part. Okay, so now, Shotriyo Brahmanishtascha Naiva Kamahatascha Dayalu Deshika Dakshaha Shishya Prashna Nivarakaha. Last quality, Shishya Prashna Nivarakaha. Now, interesting. Nivaraka, one who removes. Prashna means samshaya here, means doubt. Of Shishya. Now, this also is a good one because it says one who removes your doubts, not one who removes your problem. Okay, problem was sankat. He didn't say he's sankat nivaraka. No, he's samshaya nivaraka. The teacher's job is to remove doubt, not to solve your problems. Okay, sometimes this happens that in our relationship or expectation upon, especially in our culture as well, when many times, gurus are like swamis or some type of esoteric personality, sadhus, sadhus, then we do fall into this lazy habit of going to the sadhu and then asking them, Swamiji, Babaji, read my palm, read my palm. And then from my palm, if you read, tell me, what is my fortune? We like people who can read our palms, predict our futures, tell me what's going to happen. And if I can't figure it out, Babaji, just touch my head, Babaji. So by touching my head, I think all my problems will be solved. Touching your head, problems will be solved. If that's all it took, then why are we studying all these scriptures? Is it to touch someone's head? All you need to learn is the art of how to put your head in front of someone's hand. You don't need to learn all these things. Once a person came to me and asked me, Swamiji, can you read palms? I said, I can read palms, actually. I said, as long as you write something on your palm, I can read it back to you. There's no problem. You just write something down, I'll read it. I can read it written anyway, but nothing is written, I can't read it. See? This is called laziness. This is a laziness on the part of the student. The student becomes a bit lazy, that they don't want to solve their problems. They want someone else to solve their problems. This we have to be careful with. Yeah, that's not the job of the guru. You can go to God with this. With God, you can ask Sankat Moche. We can ask God to solve problems. And God can use Sarva Shaktiman, all his powers, and he can actually change aspects of your life. He can. But for when one is a Shishya, because Shishya Prashna Nivaraka, one who is a Shishya, then God says, Guru says, you know what? I want to do something better than solve your problem. I want to help you remove your doubt. Yeah. Because where is the source of all our problems? The source of all our problems is in doubt only. A situation only becomes a problem when you have doubt. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to choose. Yeah. If I am vegetarian, let's say a person is vegetarian, and then you go to, what do you call some party or some function, and there's vegetarian food and there's non-vegetarian food. That person doesn't have any doubt as to what they're going to eat. The only one vegetarian option is there. They just eat that. There's no doubt. So there's no problem here. Yeah. But now if I eat both, then I say, do I eat vegetarian? Do I eat vegan? Do I eat non-vegetarian? Now all of a sudden doubt. Which one should I take? Which one should I order? Which one should I have? Yeah. Now that situation, oh, I don't know which one I should take. Yeah. But if you know exactly, if you don't have a doubt, then that situation is not a problem. Because which job should I take? Do you know what type of job you want? If you know what type of job you want, then you won't have a doubt whether or not you should take that job or not take that job. Well, I don't want to travel, but this job asks me to travel. Then don't take that job. Very simple. It's very simple. So doubt is the cause of all problems. Some people, they look for people to solve their problems. And when you solve your problems, you don't necessarily remove your doubt. So if I'm with someone and they say, take this job, just do it. Okay, so I take it, but when I take it based on their authority, not based on my clarity. And what that means is in future, when another situation comes up, again, you'll have to ask that person, what do I do? What do I do? Because you have not gained any clarity in thinking. So you actually, it ends up becoming a form of dependence. That Shishya just becomes dependent upon teacher to solve problems. So anytime I have problem, run to teacher and ask them, what do I do? This dependence is not healthy. This dependence is not in the best interest of the Shishya. It's not even in the best interest of the Guru either, because he comes overburdened with all your emails and WhatsApps of what to do. So for neither party is it helpful. Yeah. But the main thing is, for the Shishya, it's not helpful. Because when the Shishya becomes dependent, Shishya is not able to think for themselves. That means they're not able to grow by themselves. They're not able to evolve. Everything is waiting upon Guru to do something, say something, resolve something. So, even amongst our children, okay, when the children are young and they fight amongst each other, they come to us, they come to parents, no? And this one took my toy. Oh, it snatched it from me, the iPad. So now daddy makes sure it gives back. So now daddy has to become referee. Now, as they get older, they become teenagers, youth, then you expect them sorted out yourself. You have one iPad between the two of you. Now you learn how to share. I can't get involved and schedule all these things. Why? Because you are grown now. As grown individuals, I expect you to manage your own things. In the same way, the Guru also wants to bring that Shishya into maturity. And maturity is when that Shishya can resolve his own doubts. Guru's teachings have been there. Years of teachings are there. Use those teachings to resolve your doubts. Yeah? Rather than keep asking immediately question again and again and again. So therefore, what is the role of the teacher? Shishya Prashna Nivaraka. Remove doubts, not solve problems. Yeah? That's the role of a guru. Okay? So that's what we also have to become aware of. Now, these qualities, I think we'll look at the next two verses. I'll do a bit of a summary of what we've just discussed here, okay? So let us chant now the next two verses, because they're also based on Guru, and then we'll bring the whole topic together. Okay, 7 and 8. Ayantu bahava shishya, ayantu bahava shishya, viraktascha mumukshavaha, viraktascha mumukshavaha, evamichan pratiksheta, evamichan pratiksheta, guru shreshta sa sarvada, guru shreshta sa sarvada. Ekameva guru karyam, ekameva guru karyam, shishyanam syat kritartata, shishyanam syat kritartata, guru swatmani stitvaste, guru swatmani stitvaste, sarvabhuta hiterataha, sarvabhuta hiterataha. So these two verses, this one says, now what is the teacher looking for? Ayantu bahava shishya. May many disciples come who are dispassionate, who are seekers of liberation. Ayantu, come. Bahavaha, many shishyas, disciples, virakta, that are dispassionate, mumukshus, that are desirous of liberation. Eva Michan, in this way the Guru, this is what the Guru wants. Pratiksheta, he waits. Shreshta, that great Guru waits all the time. Sarvada. Ekameva Guru Karyam. The Guru only has one duty, and that is Kritartata Shishyanam, to give fulfillment to the students. Moksha. To see the student gets towards moksha. Guru Swatmani Stitvaste, the Guru is abiding in his own self. And Sarva Bhuta Hiterataha, and engaged in the welfare of all beings. Okay. Now, these various qualities we have seen of the teacher, and what you will find is, in our relationship with the teacher, that basically, however we approach the teacher, you get that out of your guru. So guru, they say guru is like a mirror. And whatever you place in front of it, it just reflects that. It just reflects that. And so sometimes when we approach the teacher with a certain attitude, it is that which gets reflected back at us. So some people, they will approach with a certain hesitation and a certain distance. Then Guru also, he just reflects that relationship and distance is maintained. Yeah. Some people approach teacher with friendliness. They want friend. So then you get friend actually. Teacher is friendly back to you. Some people want family members. They want Guru to be their father. They want Guru to be some part of their family, join all their family occasions and celebrations. Then Guru just become family member only. Yeah. But some people, they want the truth. And then Guru becomes one who gives that truth, guides them to that truth. So, our relationship with the teacher depends entirely upon what you want out of that. And about that, you have to be very clear. Because although we sit there and say, I want knowledge, I want knowledge, I want knowledge, many times we don't want knowledge. That is actually not our deepest yearning. Yeah. Sometimes our deepest yearning is something else. Friendship, camaraderie, family, or some person to solve my problems. Yeah. Sometimes we are looking for these things. Yeah. And so as per your approach, that's what is reflected back. Yeah. In whatever way you approach the teacher, you get that back. And so sometimes if you approach as a friend, then Guru also just comes back as friend. And then when you look at him as a friend, you say, wait a minute, I don't think he's got the Shrotriya Brahmanishta Kamahataha Dayalu Deshika. You look at it and say, I don't see any of these qualities. Well, all we do is joke around the whole time. We don't seem to talk anything. So I don't know if he's Shrotriyam. You don't know if he's Shrotriyam because you never asked a question about Shastra. That's why no Shrotriyam came out. If you don't ask that question, Shrotriyam will not be seen. I don't know if he can remove my doubt because you never placed your doubt in front of him. Therefore, you will never know whether or not he's capable of removing doubt. I don't know where he's Deshika and Daksha, a good teacher. Oh, you did play cricket with him. That's it. You played cricket with the Guru. That was it. So he's good at bowling, but then you don't know whether or not he can do anything beyond bowling, such as teaching, because you never approached as a student. So what we see in the Guru is very much colored by how we approach that Guru. In whatever way we approach that Guru, then this is what you will see reflected back. You will see this. And this beautiful example of this is in the Bhagavad Gita. Because between Arjuna and Sri Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, it comes in book 6 of Mahabharata. Okay. Now, Mahabharata, 6 books prior to that. In those 6 books prior to that, you will find all the Leelas of Pandavas in that. Leelas means stories. So for 6 books, Arjuna has known Sri Krishna and his relationship with him was Sakamatva, Saketi Matva, friend. He saw Sri Krishna as friend. So he spent lots of time just hanging out with him as his buddy. Yeah. In that Mahabharata, Arjuna gets exiled earlier for 12 years, because he breaches one of the brothers' policies. And during that 12 years of exile, he goes and hangs out with Sri Krishna. A few of those years he's hanging out. He's a bit bored, hang out with Shri Krishna, see what you're doing, see what's happening down at Dwaraka. Yeah. So during that period, he's with Bhagavan. No teaching takes place. No Gita takes place. Why? Because Arjuna did not approach him as student. He approached him as friend. Even if you look in the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter, no teaching takes place. Arjuna on the battlefield crying and lamenting in depression. But no teaching. Why? Arjuna still not approached as student. It is only in the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter that Arjuna finally says the most important thing. Shishasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I am now your disciple. Please instruct me. And when he says that, then the Bhagavad Gita begins. The Bhagavad Gita does not begin prior to this because Arjuna is not a Shishya of Shri Krishna. He is only friend of Krishna. And as friend, you will get friendship. And he had deep friendship with Krishna. But he did not get Upadesh. He did not get Jnanam. He did not get knowledge because he never approached in that way. So later on, when he starts getting all this knowledge, he says, forgive me, because Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Saketi, I treated you as some friend of mine. Hey buddy, how's it going? Huh? Saka means friend, you know. Like in a colloquial Australian slang, mate, how's it going, mate? That's how I used to talk to Krishna. My mate, my bestie, my BFF. They had bracelets, walked around together with their BFF bracelets and t-shirts. My BFF, and the other one had an arrow, my BFF, and they walked around like this. Huh? But they're not Guru Shishya. Yeah. So he says that later on in chapter 11, he said, I regret that. And he said, Tat Chinmaya, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Yeah. And he said, now you are God only. I am looking at God, but I don't know what I was doing. So he comes to his senses. But he had already surrendered as a disciple. In the same way, you get whatever you want out of that teacher and the world from your attitude to it. If you approach that teacher as friend, if you approach that teacher as some sort of family member, or then you get that much out of it. Even some people approach only as sevak. Then as sevak, you get Swami. Swami means master. Master tells you what to do. Swami doesn't have to tell you how to think. It tells you what to do. Yeah. Guru and Swami are different. Yeah. Guru enlightens you. Swami just instructs you. Yeah. So sometimes we just come as seva. I am seva, here to do your seva. Okay, do the seva. But you should ask some question at some point in time. Yeah. And so our failure to see these qualities is not necessarily because they don't exist in that person. It's because you never inquired or approached in that way. Because you never inquired and approached, you don't see it. It's there, but you don't see it. It's unmanifest to you. It's invisible to your eyes. Yeah. It's like if your children, you know, when they're older, they'll ask you, what were you like when you're in high school and all that? Huh? And they say, oh, your mother was so good at track and field. She could run. I say, what? My mother was a track and field runner? Yeah, she was a 100-meter sprinting champion. You can't imagine, because all you have seen of this mother is one who sits there making dosa after dosa, flipping it onto your plate. asking you to have more chutney, do you want poddy? They say, all do you know of Amma? And they say, Amma was a track champion. Cannot comprehend Amma being track champion. You cannot comprehend your mother being anything other than a mother. That's it. She's only mother. That's it. And because you can't see her, all these skills, knowledge, and talent that she has is hidden to your eyes. She had it all. It's all hidden. Yeah. Like the mother can be CEO of some company, but little child at home doesn't see CEO. Little child only sees one who feeds me, one who cuddles me, one who puts me to sleep. But she doesn't see CEO. Yeah. But it doesn't relate in that way. So in the same way, however you relate to the teacher, you get that much out. You see that much. You'll only see that much. And as we evolve as seekers, and we move from seekers to become shishya, yeah. And as we become shishya, you'll start seeing guru in front of you. Then you'll see all these qualities there. But when we approach as anything else, you may not see all these qualities. It doesn't mean the person doesn't have it. It's because the attitude that we are approaching is limited. We don't want to see it. Okay? So this is like, so people, because the reason I'm going into this is that people often ask, how do you find a guru? How do we progress our spiritual journey and all that? A guru is not going to just drop out of the sky in front of you and you will accept it. Because even if they do, you won't accept it. If you don't have shishya bhava, attitude of being a disciple, mumukshu bhava, attitude of being a seeker of truth, then even if Guru is standing in front of you, you won't recognize him as Guru. Even now, Gurudev, Swami Tejomayananda, we all know him as Mahapurusha, great teacher. But when he, was giving discourses during his time, many times he stayed at people's houses. And those people, some of the people would not even attend his talks. They wouldn't ask him any questions. They never even sat next to him. He used to sit in the house in one room. And they were very polite and they served him, but they would not sit and ask any questions. And they wouldn't go for the yajna at night even. They said that. Like one lady had hosted him, the husband would never sit with Gurudev at all. Everyone else was flocking to do namaskar to his feet. This man had Gurudev in his house and would not even go near him. Gurudev said he actually sat in the other room and used to drink whiskey. He used to drink alcohol. So for him, what is his attitude towards the Guru? He guessed. He's some person I have to put up with for another 5 days because he's doing some program. And I'm just waiting for him to finish his program. Then I can get my living room back where I can sit there and put my feet up. That's how Guru is seen for such a person. Yeah. So as we change our attitude, as we evolve as seekers, and we move away from being casual seeker to more sincere seeker to shishya. Finally, we take on shishya bhava. And when we become shishya bhava, receptive to knowledge, we are interested in removing our doubts rather than just solving our problems. We are committed to putting forth self-effort, and we are willing to work on ourselves. That's what all the previous qualities were. Yeah? Viveka vairagya, samadhi, sattva, sampatti, mumukshutvam. All those qualities is the disciples' commitment to work upon themselves. We're not scared of discipline. We're not scared of scolding. We're not scared of instruction. When we have these type of qualities, and now when you look at the world, then you will see Guru. This is how you find the Guru. You don't actually find the Guru. You have to become a student. That's it. There is no actually finding a Guru. It's becoming a student that is the key. Gurudev is a very nice example. And he says, all of us seekers, we are like flowers. And flowers, if you see, they go from bud and then they have to unfold. And when they unfold, then the pollen is there. And because of that pollen, it attracts the bee. And when the bee comes, the bee takes the pollen, and that is the fulfillment of the flower. The flower's fulfillment isn't giving up the pollen, because then it will spread. So now, how does that flower attract the bee? It has to attract the bee by merely unfolding, and then it's wafting its beautiful fragrance. That's all it has to do. The flower doesn't have to do anything else. Just unfold and allow your fragrance to go out. And then bee comes automatically. Nature brings the bee. In the same way, the seeker has to unfold to become disciple and then waft the beautiful fragrance of viveka, vairagya, mumukshutvam, shama, dhamma, uparama. This is the fragrance. And when that shishya gives out that fragrance, God himself comes as the guru to that shishya. God himself takes form of that guru and comes towards such a shishya. Yeah, that's how it happens. That's how this relationship takes place. Sometimes we are looking for guru without working on ourselves. And we just want someone who's going to, like I said, tap us on our head and hopefully our ignorance will be gone. Read our palm and tell us our fortune. Yeah? But no, this won't work. If you look for these quick, cheap methods, you'll end up attracting someone who can take you for a ride. This is how you get gurus that cheat. Because for any cheat, there must be a fool. That's how these two attract it. Just like pollen attracts bees, fools attract cheats. So when we are lazy in our thinking, when we are lazy and not willing to commit to change, then you get wonderful people that say, hey, come, do my meditation course. Yeah, $10,000 if you do it. Until you do it, you got to realize at the end of it. Guaranteed. Anyone who says guaranteed realization, you should be very cautious, because I think guaranteed cheat will be there. Because guru cannot guarantee the realization of the shishya. Only shishya can guarantee realization of themselves. Yeah, but sometimes we get very fascinated with these things. Yeah. So in this way, I hope you understand. Yeah, qualities of guru, and these qualities will only be seen as we become fit students. As we become fit students, you will see all these qualities in front. And as we become fit, if there is no one that you see, God himself will come as guru. Yeah, there's a beautiful story of Dhruva. And we all know little Dhruva was a 5-year-old boy and pure of heart, very pure of heart. And he wanted to just sit on his father's lap. However, he had a stepbrother and a stepmother. And the stepbrother was sitting on father's lap, and the stepmother had a lot of power over the father. And she told that little Dhruva, you can't sit on your father's lap. And she told him, if you want to sit on his lap, go and pray to God. And she said, pray that you are born of my womb, and then you'll be able to sit. That poor boy cried and cried and cried, went to his mother. His mother was a very wise person. Her name was Suniti. Suniti, one of great principle. And she said, what that stepmother has said is half correct, half incorrect. She said, if you want to sit on your father's lap, worship God, correct. but you need not be born as her son. That part you need. But she said, go worship God. That Dhruva left that day and he went to the forest. And with such pure heart, 5 years old, he went to the forest and he went in search of God. And because of his purity, because of his desire and earnestness, then it said, God was sitting there watching. And finally, Lakshmi also, she says, Bhagavan, what are you doing? Your little bhakta is sitting in forest. You have to help him. So Bhagavan said, I will send my best teacher to him. And Bhagavan sends Narad Muni. And Narad Muni goes down and meets that Dhruva. And he asked Dhruva, what are you doing? He said, I want to see God. And then Narad Muni then initiates him in various sadhanas and teaches him, of course, initiates using mantra diksha into the famous mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And through that sadhana, mantra, he has darshan of Bhagavan. Yeah. The point here is that as we become more and more sincere, greater vairagya, greater mumukshutva. These are the two main things we need. As you get that, God himself comes as Guru in front of you, and you'll see in that person, you'll see all these lakshanas. Yeah? And that's how we as shishyas can progress. Okay? So in this way, we have now seen the lakshana of Guru and the relationship of shishya and Guru. Yeah? Next week, we will now see the meeting of these two. Guru and Shishya will meet. And then now, what questions will the Shishya ask? Yeah, because he's seeker of knowledge. Yeah, he's not there just to see if we can eat half of the Guru's bhiksha, whatever's left over, because the Guru got some nice bhiksha. So can I get some of your dessert as well? If I sit on the table, do I get gulab jamun as well? No, no, no. He's actually come to try and get knowledge, not food. Okay, that we will see next week. Okay. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om